Okay, so we're going to start with with the sky, and the sky has a couple of colors: purple, red, light yellow, all the way down. So I'm gonna have here ultramarine violet, white, cadmium red medium, and yellow, cadmium yellow medium. So if I take ultramarine violet and use white, put white in it. I'm going to show you here. Only white. The color is really nice, but it's bright. So if I want to tone it down, I'm going to tone it down, make it subdued, but still purple. I would take purple, ultramarine violet, yellow, same yellow I'm using, put it in, and it will look like muddy color. Use white so you can see it's now okay, purple. I'm going to take a little bit more purple, put it in, because I want it to tip more towards the purple and not the yellow. And you see the difference between this one and this one. Mm-hmm. One is bright, one is toned down. So if this is too brown, I can just take a little bit more ultramarine violet, and I'm going to get more purple in there. Make it, if I want to make it a little bit more pastel, white. But it's not bright like this one. This is too bright. So when you mix two complementary colors like yellow and purple, the only way to see what the color looks like is to use white. As soon as you use white, you'll know, is it tipping more towards the yellow or the purple? And you adjust at that time. You find out which color do you want it to look like. More yellow, add yellow. More purple, add purple. So we're going to do the same thing now. You're going to take ultramarine violet, quite a bit. And you have to take, okay, so you grab this ultramarine violet, and with the corner of the brush, take a little bit of yellow. Don't take too much. And put it in, because yellow will change the color. And you see, it's brown right now. It's like a dark brown here. I'll put it here. Now I'm going to take white, put it in, and I can see it's like very, very, I can't tell. It's purple, but it's not enough purple. I'm going to bring in more purple, a little bit more white, and this is good. We're getting there. It's going to dry darker. So I have to always keep in mind that this is going to dry darker. Let's take a bit of water it down a bit. Now I'm going to put the first layer. White brush. It's number, oh, I don't know. I can't tell. Oh, 20. I can tell it needs more white. This is too dark. Yeah, that's better. Maybe a little bit more white. Don't forget that the yellow that we put underneath will affect the color too. just where the rooftop of the building is, you know, this peak right there. Now I'm going to switch quickly to red. It's okay if your red mixes with the purple a bit. See, this red is pink red, not orange red. I did change the position of those two buildings in the back. I lowered them. Just because they were too high. They looked too strong. Yeah, red. Only red. I mean, the reason I'm using just red, not because I want to mix red with purple. There's no need to clean my brush. If it has a bit of purple in it, that's not bad. It's nice transition. Oh, this red is too pink. Okay, tone it down. Let's bring some purple in here. Light purple. Purple with white. The purple that I have here, the muted one. Bring it in. We might have to, once we're done, we might have to glaze all this to push it back. It needs to be glazed. Now, I'm gonna clean my brush. Take some yellow, mix it with a bit of red, and I'm gonna pause in a minute. Take white. More red than yellow, but it will make my red a little bit yellowy, so it's a good transition. Transition to yellow, because I'm going to transition to yellow soon. I'm not worried how dark these colors are, honestly. Not worried at all, because I am going to be slowly later on, I will use glaze to glaze all of everything and soften everything. This is turning a little bit too pink or too purple. So I'm just going to bring in some of this yellow and red in here. With white. That's why using, I'm going to switch to yellow now. Put some white in it and a tiny bit of red. And just come here and then. That's why it's better to do, when we're doing something like this, it's better to do a layer without any drawing on it, because there's so much happening here. Yellow, white. Okay. All right, I will stop in a minute. I'm just gonna, I'll come. The more I go down, the more yellow and light white I'm gonna put in there. In here. See, this is really red right now and too red, too dark, but that's okay. That's all right. We will glaze this. It will soften the whole thing. It'll be really soft. Okay. I'm having a little bit of a problem here because I sprayed my drawing with workable fixative and it's reacting with the acrylic paint. It's all right. Let it dry. Right now we're gonna glaze this part. So I have here white with a bit of purple in it, and it's kind of transparent. You can see that if I, let's say, put it over here, you can still see the color, but it will push the color. It will make it lighter. So wipe my brush, make sure that it doesn't have, usually what I do is I actually clean my brush well, dry it, and pick up the glaze. I'm not concerned about the white that I'm seeing here because it will dry darker. Glazing a color like this, which is a glaze, it's transparent. So it will dry darker because the color underneath is going to show through. And if it doesn't, and I find out that it's when it's dry, if I find that it's too light, it's okay. I can put a layer of light color, same color back on again, but I think it's going to be okay. You know, at the end of the day, you don't like, this is just the background. It shouldn't interfere with the rest of the painting. If it's too light or too colorful, it will just interfere with the rest of the colors that we're going to put. To push back these colors. You should get a better result than what I'm getting because you're using, you didn't use workable fixative on your canvas. I'm gonna try to wait for it to dry and see what I'm gonna get. And if I'm not happy with the result, I can always adjust it. Okay, Payne's gray, white, ultramarine violet. I'm mixing them together. More of the Payne's gray than the ultramarine violet and white. The reason I'm putting ultramarine violet is just because we have some in the back. So I don't want to completely disconnect the background from the color of the buildings in the front. I'd like to see a little bit of a purple in there as well. And I'm just gonna, that's a little bit too strong. So I'm gonna kind of put more white because it's gonna dry darker. Better. Yeah, still, I'm gonna put white, more white. That's better because this is gonna dry dark.
You're gonna go all the way down.
Mm-hmm. What's happening down here? See, it's better not to see what's happening real in the real one, because that's gonna, you know what, just take this off. It's gonna restrict me a bit. There is a connection in there. There's a connection between these two buildings. They're connected with some kind of walkway. But again, I'm not gonna. Honestly, what I'm doing, what I'm looking at right now, I'm looking at the negative space that I'm creating with these. I take a little bit more white in here. We just know. I put a bit more white for this one, little one here. Once we start using browns in this, sorry, in this painting, I will go back and add some light browns in here, brown in here. White. See how dark it's drying? Okay. Pull in a bit of yellow in here. Let's see. Just to change a bit the color. Right. A little bit of yellow in here. Just a tiny bit yellow in the Payne's gray and white. In the Payne's gray. Just tiny bit of yellow. And I'm just going to put the color here. Oh, more white. Anything I'm doing right now doesn't mean that this is the last, that's it. We're not going to go back. We might go back and adjust some colors or details. It's just for now, just gives me a good background for what we're going to be doing. So nothing is final, because when you're painting, most of the time what you want to do is connect your design or your colors together. So once we start working on the building itself here, I can figure out what's happening, and I can add maybe some earth tones to the background, some little details, something in there. But for now, this is good. Let's do this one too. This side. Lighter here. This part, we're going to do it in the same colors as this building. So we need this, whatever we're going to use for the building, we need to spread this color around to connect, because you don't want to do cool colors in the back and then building warm color and strong and nothing connecting these warm colors. So warm color in here is going to spread to this side all the way up here, goes this way, goes here. So all of these warm colors are connecting, even if we need to put over what we're doing here to connect them. So I can, if you look at the reference, where are they? And out for the reference? Yeah. All right. So if you look at the reference, you'd see that cool colors all here, and then cool colors here. But then the warm is connecting all of this warm right here, and warm right there. So this warm color, these warm colors should connect with the building. That's what we're going to do once we start working on the building. Does it make sense, what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have the warm colors. So Payne's gray white, lots of white. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to come, oh dear. Oh, that's a big boo-boo in here. Where did this come from? All right. All right. Let's take Payne's gray, lots of white. Kind of like a light, soft gray. Light, soft gray. And we're going to put some of this gray down here. Doesn't have to look perfect. I can see a little bit of gray in here. Another color is going to come over it, which is a brown when we start doing brown, putting brown, so it'll be fine. All right. Burnt umber, burnt sienna, And I'm going to take these two colors and start just kind of apply a little bit of burnt umber, more burnt sienna. A little bit of burnt umber, more burnt sienna. For this building on this side, use more burnt sienna, less burnt umber. There's no detail to go over. And I'll show you what to do with this, what we're going to do with this part. Actually, we'll do it right now. And take a bit of titanium buff. Titanium buff. Yes. One further away. So the further one, the one that's further away is lighter. That's why I'm putting titanium buff. And also, even if it wasn't the two buildings, if there weren't two buildings, I would probably kind of separate them somehow. Let's go back to burnt sienna in here. Bring that burnt sienna down. Doesn't matter if it's light, dark, doesn't matter. Just bring it down. Because we'll put any detail over it later on. This shouldn't be detailed anyway. It should be kind of a suggestion of something. Okay, let's go come here. And I know it's in the reference, it's kind of, there are kind of windows in there and it's green, but we're just going to take this up with nothing, just the same color. Okay. Right. Now, I'm going to change and use a smaller brush. And to this side. I see here more of the more buildings, but they're in the browns. We'll put a bit of detail later on. I'm going to add a bit of titanium buff to my burnt sienna and put it here. Just create a movement in there. It doesn't have to look like anything. Let's bring some of this brown in here. A little bit of more of a titanium buff with burnt sienna. Don't do anything more than that. That's fine. I'm going to take more burnt sienna. I mean titanium buff into the burnt sienna. And come here. Just try to add lines like these. They look like windows. And then we'll put some lights and some details and make it look more interesting. Now I'm going to switch to a little bit of more of the burnt umber. Should I wipe my plate? Take some burnt umber. And give this part suggestion of windows or detail, but with dark. Enough. Perfect. Don't need more than that. We can do the same here. Burnt umber. Suggestion of something. Let's bring some of the titanium buff and burnt sienna again. This is just a suggestion of some detail. It doesn't have to look like anything, just shapes, so it's not just flat. And if I find that it's too much, I can just soften it a bit. None of this is going to be, we're looking at this right now just because that's what on the page, on the canvas. Once we start working with the building and we come forward, none of this is going to show. It will make more sense. I'm switching back to the bigger brush, wider. And I'm going to take some burnt umber, burnt sienna, a little bit of burnt sienna, some titanium buff. Wipe my brush. It needs a bit lighter. Needs to go lighter. Lighter. Don't want it to be overwhelming too much. Burnt sienna, a little bit of burnt umber, and lots of titanium buff. I'm going to put some blue over that later on, glaze it with blue. Doesn't matter. It's not going to be the last layer. Soften your color a bit with your paint a bit with water, so it's not too heavy. There's a glaze. I know it's still wet, but it doesn't matter. A glaze of blue or Payne's gray and white and titanium buff. Sorry.
Lael, I'm going to get going. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. See you next week.
Yeah, apparently all I have to do is put the thing in a little bit of warm water and it will loosen the head. So we'll see if that works.
Yep, that's exactly.
If not, I'm going to hand draw it.
Okay. All right. Good luck.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
It's like right now it looks, the whole thing looks like abstract. just going to do the building for 1 minute, and it's going to be a glaze. Not a thick color, thin. As long as you can see the windows and the details you have, you're good. That's why I'm saying glaze it with burnt sienna. Next week we'll tighten everything. Like we'll start working properly on these. We have a little thing here.
Can you still see your windows?
And just any detail you
And okay, it's
you're
very
just wiping it.
light wash.
Yeah. Just wiping it right now. Yeah. Yes. This is just burnt sienna and a little bit of tiny bit of brown burnt umber, but I have lots of titanium buff in here. Let's see if we put a bit of white. Titanium buff, a little bit of white, just kind of don't make it too detailed. I'm going to be using a bit of Naples yellow eventually over here when it dries. For this one, for this part, I'm going to use a wash of burnt sienna and titanium buff. Make it a little bit more like a, not too heavy, more like a glaze. Not too much water though, not like glaze, but thin your color a bit. And what we're going to do is eventually put some detail over that. A little bit of suggestion of bricks. I'll put them back. Okay, I'm gonna let it dry. And put some suggestions, some detail over that. Okay, while I have the brown burnt umber. Let it dry, glaze a bit of Naples yellow with white or with titanium buff over here. I know it looks messy right now, but trust me, layers and it'll be fine. We're going to be layering some details over that. This is just the wash. This is the kind of the first layer. I'm using now, clean my brush, pick up a bit of burnt umber, mix it with my glaze of burnt sienna and titanium buff. Just come here and, oh,
I like it better like watching YouTube.
gonna let everything dry. This, I think this is where the tree is, so we're good. This is where the lamp post is, we're good. That side, okay, all good. Right, first layer of this project. Next week, we'll start working on this more, adding more elements, and we'll take it from there.